So after one final, we have another 3 to go. And next up, it is Micromax. Let's have a look at the starting order for this one, shall we? So on pole position, who won the pre-final by just over 7/10 of a second, Tom Pappenberg starts from pole position, and alongside him will be fellow Dutch driver Boaz Maximov. Jenthe Moonen in the number 10 starts on the inside of row 2, and alongside will be Vic van Kampenhout in the number 24. Laurens de Kock in the number 27 will have Stig de Rademaker in the 79 alongside, with Lucas Dorder in the 12 and Matthijs Piesens rounding out the 8 strong drivers. And everyone did make it to the checkered flag in the pre-final earlier on. Pappenberg's move up the inside of Maximov saw the number 48 take the victory, as they've now just completed their sighting lap and go on to their official formation lap here at Karting d'Espagne. A big thank you to the circuit for welcoming us back once again. Drivers now making their way into the relevant formation, and they're getting started early. I think we've got one of the drivers at the back of the field trying to close in and get into position ready to go racing. That could be Piesens in the number 99 that is closing in on the back, because Lucas Dorder is just behind one of the other drivers. So looks like everyone's now gotten into formation. It will be down to Tom Pappenberg on pole position and Boaz Maximov alongside that will control proceedings. Again, 13 minutes plus an additional lap of racing. They'll be able to have a nice little bit of a respite, have a bit of a chill time with their families and their friends ahead of tomorrow. So Pappenberg's already got one in the bag. What will Maximov have to say about it? So we go into the final couple of corners. The chicane complex here that brings them onto the start-finish straight. And it is about nailing the start perfectly. Into the tram lines we go. Are we ready? Are we steady? The lights are out, we are off and racing, and Maximov has a little bit of a tussle, and he's clashed with somebody else. He ran wide coming through turn 1 for the first time, so it's all gone horribly south for Boaz Maximov, who ended up going down to what was effectively, that looks to be 7th position for Maximov. His race already turned upside down before it's truly gotten started, and I'm just wondering who that might have been that has that ended up being collected as a result of that. I've got a feeling it might have been Jenthe Moonen in the number 10 car, as now we see 3 Formula K karts line astern, and that looks to be the case that it is Jenthe Moonen that has dropped back a little bit further than would have been liked. However, these things do happen in racing. Pappenberg now has a lot of daylight at the end of the tunnel, and this is just after the first 60 seconds of this race. So Pappenberg leads, completing lap number 1. And next up, it is going to be Laurens de Kock, who started down in 5th place. Vic van Kampenhout trying to go up the inside. The 24 makes the move through turn 2. This is going to be rather tight. And they managed to make it through. Stig de Rademaker trying to go through up the inside of de Kock, going through into turn number 3. Now starting to exercise their right on the comeback trail, as up the inside Van Kampenhout goes into battle with de Kock, and they both managed to get through that one, but de Rademaker back into the fray. Boaz Maximov has got past Lucas Dorder and is chasing the 3 in front, and whilst they're battling away, Maximov can literally disperse with them, and is I can't believe what I've just seen from Vic van Kampenhout. As if to say, hey, slow down guys, slow down. As if to say, I want second, but Maximov, who's having absolutely none of it, is going alongside de Rademaker into turn number 2. He nearly deposes of Laurens de Kock going through turn 1 as well. Oh my goodness me, Maximov is absolutely fired up after that incident on the first corner on the very first lap of the race. And that says to me that Tom Pappenberg better watch his rear bumper, because the way things are going, Boris Maximov is looking to close in, but Pappenberg is starting to break away and get an initial advantage. It's now up to 2.2 seconds, and there's the move for second place. Boris Maximov now up into second, past Vic van Kampenhout. And now we'll start chasing down Tom Pappenberg. Now, they were separated for most of the race. Well, from what I remember seeing of it, the best part of about 0.3 of a second. So now it's about how Boris Maximov now decides to get his head down, look ahead, and try and chase down Tom Pappenberg. Because effectively, what is now going to be the case is how fired up is Boris Maximov. Jens Moonen hasn't made the strides forward after that incident. And so Jens Moonen, running on the Haas chassis, is going to have to start scything through the likes of De Rademaker, De Kock and Van Kampenhout to get back into what effectively was third position. And already, the way things are going, I'm sensing that there is a little bit of an inroad being made by Boris Maximov in the number 30. But he's bringing along Van Kampenhout in the number 24. Lorenz de Kock battling away with De Rademaker for what is effectively fourth on the road. So just under 9 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. Tom Pappenberg is putting in fastest laps after fastest lap. He's just put in a 1 minute 2.6. How has Maximov responded? 1 minute 2.9. Gap is 3.1 between first and second position. Jens Moonen, unfortunately, has dropped a little bit by the wayside. The number 10 now. Down into Rademaker, running out the top four positions ahead of Lorenz de Kock in the number 27. And Pappenberg just needs to stride away into the distance and get the job done. That's all he needs to do. So here they are once again, and Pappenberg still leading. And this effectively means that the likes of Pappenberg, the likes of Maximov, the likes of Van Kampenhout and De Rademaker and De Kock, they ran out the top five. The top five are covered by 4.9 seconds, but then you look at the gap between second and fifth position, they are covered by just a fraction over 1.6 seconds. But the battle really seems to be close between Van Kampenhout, De Rademaker and De Kock, and that are the three. That are those three that you see on your screens at home. Just over 7 minutes remaining, plus an additional lap for the Micromax drivers before we head into Minimax territory once again here. So, as always, some pretty good skills showcased by a lot of the drivers in the Micro and the Minimax classes here at the BNL Karting Series. Here at Mariembourg, no exceptions whatsoever. And it's really good to see now the battle for third and fourth as De Rademaker closing on Van Kampenhout as they go through turn three. Tight line taken by both drivers. They're dropping Lorenz de Kock a little bit here as the number 27 finds himself about 4 to 5 tenths behind in fifth place. And here is De Rademaker sizing up a move on Van Kampenhout, but on this particular juncture, the number 79 not able to get past the number 24. So 5 minutes and 50 seconds still to go. Third to fifth starting to close up once again. And there is the leader. Tom Pappenberg has not been hanging around. 3.5 seconds was the advantage after 6 laps. It's now 3.643 seconds. And climbing. I will be completely honest, though. Tom Pappenberg might have a bit of a match again because Boz Maximov, okay, has got to within probably the best part of a 10th and a half on the lap time. So 1 minute 2.650 for the number 30 from MDB Motorsports last time out. Hasn't really truncated that gap. And I would think that Maximov might be battling with a little bit of damage, so to speak. There might be a little bit of, well, not damage, so to speak, but I think probably after what happened with that Turn 1 incident involving Jente Moonen, maybe his confidence has been knocked a little bit, as, again, this battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th has not abated. They're covered by just over 6 tenths as they go through into the final right-hander before the right-left chicane here at Mariembourg. And you can just see how closely matched they are. The Rademacher trying to get the move done on Van Kampenhout, but won't get it done through Turn 1. Down the dip into the right-hander at Turn 2. The Rademacher lurks for the opportunity, but Van Kampenhout actually closes the door nicely and turns in, kisses the apex really nice and truly again through Turn 3. Now into Turn for their race, which is coming up next after this one. But with just over 4 minutes to go, a bit of a different approach there from Van Kampenhout in comparison with De Rademacher. And De Rademacher looks to be staying on the tarmac, whereas Van Kampenhout fancies some curbs here and there. And has just managed to keep ahead at the moment. But a good run there from De Rademacher on Van Kampenhout, and Laurens de Kock still closing in. Jente Moonen has got past Lucas Dorder for what is 6th on the road. And time is fast running out for the number 10, who just doesn't seem to have had that confidence. And sometimes with confidence that can knock your lap time a little bit, but if they're having to work around an issue as a result of said incident, that can also be paramount to how it affects the way in which the driver has to overcompensate or compensate in some respects for a certain aspect that they need to. Like if there's a tie rod or a tow rod bent, they've got to work around that. And I've seen drivers come off circuits where they've had to be really, really working hard behind the wheel of the kart, where tie rods have literally been bent like a pipe into a curve, as opposed to into a curve, as opposed to it being straight and having a couple of plastic ball joints on the end of it. 2 minutes and 24 seconds still to go in this race, and we have this battle that has just literally waged on for so long. Van Kampenhout has kept ahead of De Rademacher and Laurens de Kock. So the last trio, bottom trio in the top 5. Now I have noticed that Jente Moonen has started closing in, and Moonen's running in the 1 minute 2.8, so and has closed that gap down to 2.2 seconds. So maybe Jente Moonen maybe heard me. Not too sure on that one. I think you'll have to ask the number 10 a little bit later on. But whilst this trio are battling, they're running pretty much equidistant on lap time. De Kock was actually the fastest out of the trio by 1/1000th on that previous lap. Ahead of De Rademacher. Van Kampenhout was actually slowest by just under a 10th and a half. Tom Pappenberg's lead over Boris Maximov now hits just under 5.1 seconds. A complete departure to what we saw in the pre-final earlier on. And there is Lucas Dorder in the number 12 entry, running in 7th place. And is about 2 seconds behind Jente Moonen, who again has put in the personal best and has closed the gap down to Laurens de Kock to just under 1.8 seconds. And there is the number 99, Matthijs Piessens that is still running. Good to see that these drivers are still racing on until the checkered flag falls. We've got 35 seconds plus an additional lap of this race still to go, and Tom Pappenberg is leading quite significantly at the moment as things stand. So into the final 12 seconds of this race before the timer strikes zero. Next up will be Minimax for their final. So at the moment, things are looking rather rosy for the likes of Kai Rillatz and at the moment, Tom Pappenberg. So effectively, this is going to be a good day in the office for Tom Pappenberg, who has led pretty much lights out the checkered flag. Boris Maximov has tried closing that gap as best as possible. However, it is going to be very much the case as to who is going to go in with the advantage, as we're on to a couple of laps to go. Final lap board is out. Tom Pappenberg on course for doing the double and putting himself in prime position for the two races tomorrow. Obviously, he will go into tomorrow with a hell of a lot of confidence and pure motivation for getting that prized ticket for the international trophy tomorrow. And it has been pretty much plain sailing. Pappenberg has not been challenged in this race in comparison with Maximov in the first one earlier on today. But with two wins to his credit, Tom Pappenberg is going to be absolutely jubilant. He's going to wait until he crosses that line, because out of the final chicane and going into tomorrow, Tom Pappenberg knows he can celebrate early, and he takes a look over both shoulders before lifting both hands off the wheel. Epic stuff there for Tom Pappenberg, and goes into tomorrow with a maximum score of 50 points. Boris Maximov has got to put the frighteners on tomorrow, and will have to get into pole position and go from there. So let's have a look at the results. Tom Pappenberg wins the Micromax pre-final here on day one at Mariembourg by just under 6.7 seconds. And he's also set the fastest lap of the race, 102.528. Boris Maximov in second, Vic van Kampenhout leading the way in the battle for what was third position between himself and Stig de Rademaker. But Jent de Munen did actually get past Lorenz de Kock at the end of the race and picked the number 27 by 7 1,000ths across the line. So well done, Jent de Munen, for a good comeback drive as well. Lucas Sorder and Matthijs Piessens rounds out the 8 strong that finished the race.